Kenny's in trouble. He's going to run. He's going to get the first down.
Don't sleep on those legs. Oh, he faked the slide. Sauce time. The Pitt Panthers have pulled a stunning upset over the West Virginia Mountaineers.
And Johnny Majors gets a ride across the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Simplify. I'm your host, Zach Kaminsky. I'm joined tonight by both my co-hosts. Let's start with Mason. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Got my first taste of the juice this weekend. It was week 0. It wasn't great, but it was football, and I'm ready.
We'll talk about week 0 in a little bit. You had it perfectly. It was football. Did I take a nap on the couch during the game? Yeah, they weren't that great, but we did learn some things in week 0, and I think we had some stuff to analyze. We're not going to analyze every game. Like, I didn't watch the Hawaii game. I just went to bed.
Yeah, I fell asleep to the sweet sounds of helmets hitting, though, which was cool.
Yeah. All right, Kent, welcome back. How you doing?
Appreciate it. I'm doing very well. I'm very excited. We've made it, boys. It's Backyard Brawl Week.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's all we've been looking forward to for months now, so we're here.
We're in the home stretch, man.
Yeah.
We're recording now on Monday, so we've got 72 hours till the game.
Yeah.
It is after 7, right?
Yep.
It is, in fact.
Yeah, 72 hours until under 72 till kickoff. What more can you ask for, man?
You can feel it. You can feel the electricity in the air.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, Lord?
Who sings that song?
Oh, who the fuck? Can you pull that up?
Oh my God, I can't think of it right now. No.
Kent's gonna be our Jamie now that we're recording in person. He's got his little
Phil
laptop.
Collins.
Phil Collins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I wanted to say Bon Jovi. I was like, that's not
That's
right.
I was thinking that too.
All right. Well, we figured that one out. Let's lay out the episode. We're going to start with a couple of week 0 notes. Then we're going to go into the official Pitt 2 Deep roster that was released earlier today. So going over that. That'll transition to our preview of the Backyard Brawl. And they're going to highlight a couple games that are going on at the same time as the Brawl, so we can have a chance, give them their shine ahead of, because we're not going to be
Not going to be much coverage from those games because we will be
watching them.
Yes, yes, exactly. Unless the only score updates we're going to have is whatever we can get on our phone or whatever they show on the scoreboard at Heinz Field.
The service there's going to be terrible as always.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's all about the atmosphere. Just look at all these people, not on their phones, enjoying life.
Simply vibing.
Simply vibing.
First game at a Crasher Stadium.
No,
I'm still learning it.
It's Heinz. It's Heinz. I mean, I hear that the players are starting to call it the ACK, which is like, that just sounds like you're about the ACK. That's just unfortunate.
Significantly cooler than Acrisure, but we still got some work to do there, boys.
No, I mean, it's like PPG, like you literally put PP in the first 2 letters.
They should have done Poo Poo Stadium.
Poo Poo Rink at PP Stadium.
In Madden, it's still Heinz Field. Saw that yesterday. Was playing around with Kenny a little bit. They need to up Kenny's ranking a little bit after his preseason.
They didn't. Yeah, I mean he's looked good in the preseason. They got. I wonder how many games before they gotta adjust their rankings.
He's got to play some
he's
regular
starting,
season
man?
games.
Like,
He's only 1 overall less than Trubisky right now. Trubisky's 69 and Kenny's a 68 in Madden right now. But Kenny had a 5-yard wide open out route to like Pickens and he threw it like 8 yards over his head. I was like, he would never do that.
I know him. He would not do that.
we watched that Jacksonville game, that end of the half touchdown. That throw that got called back was really, really nice.
Both. He had a great drive from the little bit that we've watched.
Yeah, we don't get much Steelers preseason on the cable here.
Yeah, we'll have to do some incremental Kenny updates as we get further into the college season here and how he's doing, because I'm sure that'll be a good news line to follow along with Pitt football.
Before we move on, quick predictions before week 1 of the NFL season. What week does Kenny start his first NFL game?
Can you pull up the schedule?
Yep. I'm on it.
I think they're gonna.
I'm trying to think
So,
Without looking at the schedule, I'm gonna say week 5. He'll be a starter.
I'm gonna go with. I'll go with 7. I think Tomlin's a little slower to change than most NFL coaches, but I want to see on the schedule where Mich could absolutely stink it up and they could go to Kenny.
Yeah.
so I'm going to be frank with you. He's not going to start week 5 for his first game. He's either going to start before that or after that.
Just based on the way the schedule looks.
If he's going to start after that, he's going to start week 7.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Schedule. At Bengals, home versus Patriots, at Browns, versus Jets, at Bills week 5.
Definitely not. With that D line, how kind of bad the Steelers line looks, I would say definitely not in the first 5.
Versus Buccaneers week 6.
No.
Probably not then either. And then at Dolphins week 7. So, but that's also, is that Sunday night game? It looks like a Sunday night game.
Nothing better
Yeah.
than Kenny versus the Dolphins.
And then against the Eagles, you would
Shut up.
You'd be
don't put that evil on me. Don't put that evil on me.
I think that for the myth of Kenny and for this program, start on Sunday night. You got to do it.
Against Dan Marino's former team, I
Oh my
don't
goodness,
know.
it's perfect.
The talking heads would eat that up.
I mean, Dan Marino's got to go join the show, be like, I love Kenny.
Yeah.
I mean, he really does. I mean, he was really, he talked him up all season when he was at Pitt. He congratulated him on breaking his records. Did you see they got him to record something for a walk-on Central Catholic wide receiver who got a full scholarship? They had him do a pre-recorded video, one of those cameo type things.
Yeah.
He was like, I played at Central Catholic, I played at Pitt, and a lot of guys did, but Logan Thompson, you're on full scholarship. Those videos never get old to me.
They're the best thing on the internet.
Yeah, those are awesome. But are you guys, now that you've heard the schedule, are you sticking with your original picks?
Yeah, I'm sticking with 7.
For sure not.
7?
No.
What are you going to switch to?
I think I can't disagree. That literally it's against Dolphins Sunday night. I think would be the perfect time because they're gonna, given that schedule, the Steelers are probably gonna have a pretty rough couple first weeks because there are a lot of good teams in there. So I think that would be a good one. I'm gonna agree with you and say 7.
I mean, I think they'll still be over 500, but they'll struggle against the good ones. Their defense is good enough to hold in the Patriots because they don't have the talent like Bucks and Bills.
Bucks and Bills back to back.
That's tough.
I mean, the Bengals are going to be tough for them.
Yeah,
coming off the Super Bowl. The Browns is never a gimme, even though they don't have Deshaun Watson. They're still going to run the ball. I don't know. Just a tough.
I have my prediction. I'm going to say he either comes in late against the Browns week 3 or starts week 4 against the Jets. Because they lose to the Bengals week 1 and Trubisky struggles. Patriots could also be an L week 2 if Trubisky plays bad. So then I think he's on a short leash at that point. It's a short week. They play Thursday night against the Browns. If Trubisky, they should beat the Browns regardless of how well Trubisky plays. But if he still kind of struggles in that game, I say they can't afford to be.
Well, if they win that game, you can't.
Yeah,
You can't switch quarterbacks after a win.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I really do think though, if he struggles against the Browns, I think let's say they're 1-2 and he looked terrible against the Browns in a win. I think there's enough evidence to be like, it's the Jets. As a Jets fan, you get your rookie right against the Jets.
that's what I'm saying. You get him a warm up game against the Jets, for his first game. If you want him to play for that Bills game, if you're like Trubisky's not going to help us beat the Bills, you just get Kenny in there.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. We'll see who's right, but you guys pick the same games, so it's not quite as fun.
All right, fine. Then I think it could be even later. I'll say week 8.
All right, you have them against the Eagles.
Just to emotionally hedge that game for me. I can root for it to not happen.
Oh, you're gonna be a wreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk some week 0. I wanted to first talk about the Nebraska game. I have been vindicated in hating on Mark Whipple online for all these months. They look good in their first drive, which is the scripted drive, and then what they start doing. I mean, first off, their first screen was their first play was a bubble screen. I could have told you that a month out that was going to be their first play.
Way to take the top off, Whipple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Casey Thompson looked pretty good in the first half. I saw the crack starting to show when they ran it 3 times on the goal line, straight into their guard and just got nothing. I was like, if they don't call a quarterback run, they are the worst team of all time.
Yeah.
They ended up calling that. I think that was Scott Frost saying, like, just run the quarterback because that was going to score every time. But then in the second half, after the failed onside kick, pretty much Thompson, to close the game out, was 3 of 16 with a pick. And basically all they were doing was bubble screens and inside runs that went nowhere. Mark Whipple leaving for Nebraska was not a loss. I've been trying to tell people this. I'm not fully sold on Frank Signetti, Sigs out, until I see him in action. But this was not a loss. We can see that his play calling, especially in the run game, was not utilizing the talent we had with Izzy, Hammond, even Vincent Davis, for all the crap I'll give him. Losing Mark Whipple was not a big loss. It might actually be an improvement.
Yeah. I mean, jury's still out. We'll see after these first couple games of what net negative or net positive it was. But I just think it's hilarious that I kind of figured Nebraska would go sour on Whipple eventually. But the fact that it happened week 1 and Scott Frost basically turned on him week 1 is the most hilarious narrative ever.
Scott Frost apparently notoriously just throws everybody else under the bus, and Whipple was his first victim, and I think
rightfully so. He was calling plays.
Yeah, so I thought that was just very funny. So,
but it's also funny because that was it was Scott Frost's hire. He made that decision, and then he's apparently been way more involved with the special team stuff. So that onside kick,
he said that was
the
one call that he made for sure. It's like
that's the one you're claiming, Scott? Really?
Oh my god! I mean, he's lost 21 one-score games. In his career, he's 5 and 21 or something. I think
he just keeps buying more time by getting close in these games. But when
he's gone.
One of the ADs, they have to realize.
I mean, they essentially said, yeah, you can come back. We're going to cut your buyout so we can basically fire you. Yeah. He knows he's a dead man walking.
Yeah.
Did you? Now you had other games you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, one in particular because for whatever reason I was a bit enamored by this game, but the UNC and Florida A&M game.
Yeah.
We teased it a little bit as one of the games that could be good if it was closer than expected.
I think we said it would be funny if they got upset. Was our official line?
Yeah. Which I think the line was 26.5. I think that Florida A&M did cover, but there was a point in the first half, late in the first half, where UNC was only up 7. I believe it was 21-14.
Yeah.
Florida A&M had the ball, and all I had to do was just get into halftime, really, and not turn it over, and it would have been a great half for them. Threw a pick turned into a touchdown last second, so it was a 14-point swing, and from there on, it kind of felt like UNC had the game in hand. But there was a second there where, the game was in hand for Florida A&M, which is kind of shows what UNC might be this year.
We were talking about this off air, but I think that they didn't get exposed, right? They didn't really have any, they played. Florida A&M, for what it's worth, did play very well on offense.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep up with, Josh Downs and Luke, and, is it Drake May? Drake May on offense. But my takeaway from this game is that UNC is going to be exposed on defense.
At some point.
Because, there was for most of the first half, Florida A&M was realistically just having their way with the UNC defense, and they had, 7 O-linemen total for that game. So
yeah, because something about
eligibility so
weird thing that would only happen with a week 0 game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it was there was a point there where my hopes were a little bit up.
Yeah, same here.
But that was really the only other. A lot of the other games were not great.
Florida State looked good. They had 300 yards of running on Duquesne.
Yeah.
We'll find out more about them next week, but they can run the ball.
Yeah.
That's...
That one guy on Duquesne had the red that went all the way up. That looked
No.
But it wasn't actually his pants. But the one picture made it look like his pants were up to his chest.
Yeah, he had the grandpa look going on because I think it was someone took a picture of their TV, so everything was blurred.
Yeah.
But it turns out he had just a red undershirt that was the exact same Pantone as the pants.
And the jersey was tucked up into his pads, so but it looked ridiculous.
Very weird for a lineman to do the jersey tuck up. That is that is not protocol for linemen.
No, definitely not. They're supposed to be the unswaggiest as possible. You just want your linemen looking gritty as hell.
And that's their swag. Their swag's they got no swag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Next year the Knowles will play at Duquesne. Can't wait for that.
Speak it into existence. Just speak it into existence.
We need to.
One other note about, I just remembered from the Nebraska Northwestern game, their Wi-Fi went out and the entire stadium had free beer.
Free beer, yeah.
Which was crazy, because if that happened in the States, they'd just be like, oh, sorry, you
No
guys
beer,
can't drink.
Yeah.
But in Ireland, they were like, fuck it, let's go. So we got some really cool cup snakes from that, too. I don't know if you saw. They got
it was like a
double-decker.
record cup snake almost, yeah.
They went up into the...
They tried, and then it, like, fell down, but...
I mean, yeah, the physics of getting a cup snake up to the upper deck, it can be done, but it is... At a certain point, you have to start dropping them in from the upper deck and hoping to God the wind doesn't blow it away.
That's basically what they were doing.
Yeah.
It was a cool visual.
You know what?
Only in Ireland.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk other games this upcoming week before we get into the backyard brawl, or just...
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's say the good stuff.
Just like the best ones, the ones we're most looking forward to outside of the backyard brawl this week.
I mean, I think the second option, if you're watching at home, which why go to the game, is you're going to be flipping between this and Penn State Purdue, right? That's pretty much the other good game on the schedule this weekend.
Yeah,
or, not this weekend, on Thursday. There are other good games.
Thursday, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of tune-up games. A lot of just teams you wouldn't normally. They're just trying to get some shine on playing a Thursday night.
It's the buy-in. It's the buy-in game.
Yeah. But we'll be pretty interested to see that Purdue Penn State game. The line right now is Penn State minus 3.5.
3.5. Yep.
That's interesting to me, but I don't. If it was bigger, I'd be more comfortable taking Purdue to cover. But then again, I don't really feel confident at Penn State covering anything under a field goal. Just, I guess Purdue lost everything on defense, so I think that it's going to be a tough win for Purdue, because losing George Karlaftis is extremely, extremely important to them. They're going to have to win the shootout if they do, and we don't know if they're going to have that random receiver that's stepped up yet in week 1.
And I like that it's at Purdue too. I feel like if it was at Penn State, I would feel way worse about it. But
probably be a double-digit line if it was at Penn State.
They usually give a field goal for the home team, so it would at least be a touchdown.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopeful for Purdue in that one for sure. That game starts an hour after the backyard brawl, so we'll probably be
catch the tail end of that. Tequila Cowboy.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, TC.
We'll be scoreboard watching a little bit on that one, probably at the stadium.
During
but
the commercial breaks.
but all focus. I'm never taking my eyes off of at one snap of the backyard brawl to peep the scoreboard of that one. So
to paint a perfect picture, though, Pitt 1-0, Penn State 0-1 before the Saturday slate even starts.
That would make my weekend.
Only other game I have eyes on is Wake Forest. They played VMI, but just to see
duty.
I
don't think Hartman has been announced back in yet. So.
Okay, so we'll get a look at. I mean, it's VMI, but we'll get a look at.
If he's still out, I think they play Liberty week 3. That would be the best you can see what they look like before they get to Clemson week 4.
Yeah,
but I agree that
at
least you have an idea of.
Look at some tape out on what could happen.
Yeah, because they're going to be running the same thing. It's not like they're going to be hiding. I mean, they'll probably hide some stuff for Clemson, but you want to see what kind of grip that their backup has on defense.
Yeah, he could just be an electric factory, who knows.
And then Saturday, we're not going to get into it.
I think we'll do that Friday after the Brawl. We'll do those games.
Okay.
So TBD.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean we'll do it? Okay.
Friday morning.
Got it.
Give the rest of the games their shine.
Yeah. Okay, got it. We'll get that out then.
Yeah, so that's about all I have for those Thursday games. So.
Yeah. It's not to be honest, they gave the backyard brawl the spotlight, which I like.
As they should, because it's
definitely the best game.
Yeah.
It might. I was trying to think of all the other big games. I think the only game that might be even good this weekend is LSU Florida State.
You're talking Saturday too?
Yeah, later in the weekend. But I think a lot of these like top tier ranked on ranked matchups are going to be fairly one sided.
I'm looking forward to Cincinnati, Arkansas.
Okay, that one. Yes,
that will be a good game. That's 3:30. Oregon, Georgia. I feel like Georgia will probably.
That line is 17.5, man. That is.
That just shows the gap between
Notre Dame, Ohio State. Ohio State will win. In my opinion.
That's also like an over 2-score line.
Dude, Clemson, Georgia Tech is at 8 p.m. Oh, that's Monday. It's like the Chick-fil-A kickoff.
Yeah, I don't know why they put that game in primetime every year, but they do. They put it in primetime from Mercedes-Benz, and even though it's in Atlanta, it's always a Clemson home game.
Yeah.
I'll be interested. I guess. I mean, USC plays Rice, so I mean, I'm just interested to watch.
You're
USC
hate watching that one.
Yeah.
You're hate watching that one.
Yeah.
Spite.
Jordan Addison will probably have 300 yards, but
all right.
We're cutting all of this out, so
we can keep it in. Who cares?
We'll do more.
It's our podcast.
Yeah.
We'll go deeper into these games.
My podcast, my choice.
Yeah.
not to get political.
But yeah.
All these old men in Congress don't even have a podcast. Tell me what to cut, what to keep my podcast. They think that they can just edit my podcast just because they have some power in the world. Guess what, man? No, you don't.
Defund Plan Podcast.
Friday night is also Western Michigan, Michigan State. That one's a little interesting, just because we play.
That's a hate scout one, but I think Western Michigan is going to be better.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, let's hope.
We'll find out. We'll find out on Friday.
All right, let's do it. Let's preview the Brawl.
Yes. Where should we start?
I was thinking maybe so. I think there's 2 avenues we can go. Kind of the vibes around the game, kind of the rivalry aspect, and then there's the actual product on the field.
Yeah.
So do we want to go vibes first and then get into the nitty gritty of like who's playing? Because I do want to go over the 2 deep for the roster that was released today. We can go over the starters.
Definitely. Yeah. General vibes. I can't feel better about this game, and it scares me because I've never felt this good about a Pitt opener. Even when we've been playing Youngstown State, I never felt this good about the team. So for that, I am a little bit worried, but I do feel pretty comfortable. I do think that we're going to kind of impose our will in the trenches, and that's where things are really going to go down and where we're going to set ourselves apart.
I do kind of agree that we'll get into this a little bit later, but I think the line play on both sides of the ball is what's going to determine the game.
Yeah.
I think that skill talent takes a back seat, at least in the offensive side of the ball, because of what the system's going to do, and we'll kind of figure out what Cincinnati's offense looks like. But man, I am ready to start chirping in the parking lots. I'm ready to be able to post some banger dunks on Twitter. Just be like, hey, what was this tweet about? This one guy, I'll get very, very, very minute details about this. His handle's like the dude of WV. He posts some insane ass takes. He's like,
I think I saw you tweet this from the pod account.
Can you pull it up? I do want to read this off because his take was absolutely just it's nuclear in quality, and most of them have been. He's the guy who said that West Virginia's D line was better than the Pitt D line.
I did see you chirping that guy.
That one was an absolutely monstrous take.
Christopher Lampard, the dude of WVU. Pitt is going to learn a hard lesson Thursday night. The Mountaineers are tougher, faster, and hardened by lessons learned in 2021. WVU isn't some ACC cream puff who can put up a fight. The Big 12 is a weekly grind with no easy wins. WVU will knock Pitt on its ass. Scene.
The big bad Big 12.
Yeah. That they finished at the bottom of last year, right?
Yeah. Well,
they went bowling, but
they just barely went 6-6 in the Big 12. Did they lose to Texas? I feel like if you're a team in the Big 12, if you beat Texas, you're good. If you lose them, you're bad.
Yeah, they're the canary in the coal mine for the Big 12.
I believe they did lose to Texas last year, but my point is that grind, that hardened by the Big 12. you scored 6 points against Minnesota in your bowl game. Do you know who scored more points than West Virginia against Minnesota last year? Northwestern, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin. Yeah, but those teams scored 14. The only team to score less on Minnesota last year was Colorado, one of the worst teams in Power 5 football. And then Bowling Green scored more points than you.
Yeah.
First off, since 2014, West Virginia has not won a game against a team with less than 4 losses in a year. And I believe it's 20% of their conference wins in that time period are against Kansas. You want to talk about some cupcake teams? You are piling up wins against Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I love the ability to talk smack with these fans. You can't really get it with any other ACC fan bases. Maybe it's Miami because they're so vocal on Twitter. And Virginia Tech a little bit because they're a proud fan base, but just the insane takes of this fan base that they're so uberly confident in is, I need to just get material to just be like, 13-9, it's good. It's always going to hit. Dan Marino, 4-0 against y'all fuckers. But if we come out and smack them, oh my God, it's going to ruin their year.
There's nothing better, too, than, that's the equivalent of, you trash talking in a game and, you just do the scoreboard chant going. There's literally no answer for that. I mean, so as soon as we can get to that point, whether it be, during the game, we can, get that going, or, even after the game if fans are going to be chirping, we can just go scoreboard. I have that for the year.
I did that last year at Tennessee after we won. We all went out to the bars. People were, giving me dirty eyes and saying, giving me rude remarks for my Pitt polo that I was wearing. I just went, scoreboard, scoreboard. I was relishing in it. I had a couple drinks, so I was influencing my chirping. But
nothing will beat walking out of that stadium in Tennessee last year and all of the Pitt fans just chanting ACC. I thought that was so fucking good. But I am, I really hope we just put them away and put them away early, to be honest. I think, I agree with you guys. I think this game is going to be decided up front. I think our D-line, if I'm making a prediction, I think our D-line is just going to get to them pretty early, and I don't think that's necessarily a hot take, since that's just definitely the strength of our defense, and we just have so many studs there.
That's a great call out, though, of getting on them early, because the last thing I want is for them to hang around.
Yeah.
And if we could establish, probably going to run the ball a decent amount with Signetti. We're going to play some stout defense. Get that early. Don't give them any life, because I don't like giving them hope. When that in a rivalry game, you can kind of throw everything out the window.
Yeah. And it's just very hard to predict what the offense is going to do. I mean, we have an idea of what Signetti's going to be bringing philosophy-wise versus what Whipple had, but, obviously we haven't seen Keaton. We haven't seen anything that they've done. Yeah, so, I mean, it'll be learning as you watch from the first snap. So, I'm hoping they're effective. I hope, I think we know what the defense is bringing, because it's pretty much, essentially the same defense as last year.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where most of our confidence lies right now. So, which is warranted, but we'll see. Hopefully the offense plays just as well as we think they can be, and the defense just dominates and we just blow them out of the water.
If we win the coin flip, we taking the ball, or are we?
I was talking about this with my roommates earlier, actually. So I kind of think
if you're not busy, what are you doing?
I'm playing defense first.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
if that D-line is advertised, you want to just deliver a soul-crushing 3-and-out to start the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's
just a strip sack, something that'd be electric.
So much more demoralizing than a nice 10-play drive.
Because
a scoring out where there was nothing going.
Yeah, if we score our first drive, that's good. But then the mindset of the Mountaineer sideline is, okay, let's go back and do that. If we can instantly demoralize them with negative plays, 3-and-out, even if they get one first down, push them back right afterwards, or make it I think that you have to start on defense if you win the coin flip. And I think that honestly, if West Virginia wins it, they're probably gonna want the ball first. So I think
Yeah.
it's more so.
I think so too. I think they'll do the same thing. I think whoever's winning the coin toss is kicking off to begin the game, deferring.
No, I think that West Virginia would take the ball first.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood what you're saying. But yeah, you think they want to give JT the ball and see if they can put up some points, or?
I don't know. I feel I was doing some scouting. I was listening to a West Virginia podcast today, and they said
how are they feeling about the kid?
they're saying their defense is their strong suit as well. I mean, they're obviously very high on JT Daniels. I am not, for one, because he lost the job to Stetson Bennett twice, and he can't stay healthy, and he can't. I think
Stetson Bennett isn't exactly a gunslinger.
I mean, listen, all love to the mailman, but if you can't beat out Stetson Bennett
Yeah.
at Georgia with George,
What they have around
throwing
him.
George Pickens, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, love Stetson Bennett though. Let's not get it twisted.
Listen. We better just start mailman for Heisman, just because we can.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'm worried about is the fan makeup of the stadium.
Yeah. So you're talking about this a little bit off air.
So full, putting this out there. Were any of us at the 2016 Penn State game, the first one in the series?
I was not at
No,
that game.
I don't believe
Okay,
I was.
none of us were there. I went to the 2018 one where it got rained out, so that one was or it got really rainy, so there was kind of a low turnout, but that one was very almost mixed.
50-50 almost. Yeah.
But that was also when Penn State was really fucking good,
Yeah.
and Pitt was.
Yeah.
I went to the one in Beaver Stadium where that was pretty much that was more closer to 80-20, 90-10. So from what I've heard, that Penn State game in 2016 was closer to an 80-20 split with Pitt being the 80. I think there's going to be a lot of West Virginia fans there, bringing big groups too. So
With how fast it sold out, I feel that too.
And I mean they're 45 minutes away. It's easy drive.
Probably a lot of alumni in Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, I know multiple WVU alumni that live in Pittsburgh these days too. So I mean, it makes it easy for them.
Crazy, they don't want to hang around in Morgantown.
Yeah.
I
So
think that's a check in our box.
Yeah, I mean, I expect it to just pretty much be a zoo on Thursday. I think every lot is just going to be absolutely bonkers. I expect to see fights outside.
Yes.
I expect to see.
Are we going to have to get into a fight?
A lot of shit. I don't want to get into a fight because I do want to get into the game.
On the way out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I think it is. It's going to be a civil war type thing where probably some houses divided, where that western side of the state, families half went to West Virginia, half went to Pitt. So it'll kind of be one of those things where it's going to be a lot of mixed of fans, just a big soup, everybody getting a little bit angry, and it's going to make for a crazy environment though.
It will be hostile. It'll be interesting. I can't say I've ever really been in a tailgate environment that I expect it to be on Thursday, to be honest. Big and not just
hostile.
Heated.
I mean, Tennessee, all the fans are super nice. I went to Virginia Tech. They were also pretty nice. They were also pretty bad. So they were just it's cool to see Kenny Pickett play. It would be nice to win. But where it's week one, expectations are through the roof for both teams. Oh my God, it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that at most it's a 70-30 split in favor of Pitt fans. I think that last season rejuvenated a lot of fandom in the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
Student section, student tickets sold out. I don't think I've ever seen that in my Pitt career.
No, hardly ever.
I don't think they've ever sold out student tickets. Unless they did it last year when we weren't there.
Yeah. Maybe the Clemson game last year was pretty... But yeah,
No, not even for the game. I'm saying student season tickets are sold out. The packages are completely sold out. I don't think that's ever been done since we were at Pittsburgh.
I don't remember happening any of the 4 years we were there.
Yeah,
so.
I'd love to hear that.
But,
I'd love to hear that.
I mean, maybe back years ago. I don't really know. But,
Students better go and show out.
Yeah, they better.
Listen, if you're a student listening to this podcast, skip your classes, tell your professors to see them next week. You are not going to experience a game day environment like this, releasing these 11 years of hate. I don't think ever again. Even if 2024, it would probably be a great environment. but nothing will ever measure up to the first one in 11 years.
You're going to want to tell your kids where you were at the game.
Yeah.
You're going to want to tell your kids where you were for this game. And it's not going to be a fucking intro to macroeconomics, I can tell you that much. So go. You have the Simplify approval. Tell your professors to fuck off. You get a couple excused absences. Get out of there.
Yeah.
What better way to use one than...
Yeah.
Start drinking at 12. I mean, come on, you're a college kid.
Yeah.
We have to take days off to do this. You just have to not go to class and catch up on homework.
Yes.
Yeah, even if you don't get an excused absence.
It's silly week. Come on. It's all week. No one's doing their homework.
But, yeah, dude, it's Monday night. I am just, like, coasting through these next 2 days of work. Just, like, I mean, I have to do a lot of work, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be working. But at the same time, my mind is just on this game.
I'm fully in the hamster wheel right now of just, like...
Get me there.
The cheese is there, and I'm just, like, I'm doing my work just to get to the cheese. But, yeah. Do you guys have anything more for just general vibes of the game, or should we get into the two-man?
I mean, I'm hoping that the split of fans is closer to 70-30. I just don't want it to be 50-50. That is what would concern me if it was a dead 50-50 split.
I think we'll edge them out between the student section, and like you said, I think last year rejuvenated a lot. There's a lot of buzz in the city for the team, so I think we'll like what we see. It'll be a pretty good mix, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Sweet Caroline will be interesting. That'll be.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do with a Let's Go Pitt very loud.
Yes.
You know what? I was gonna be saying Pitt on the same syllable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be, if we could drown out that childish little chant they do. That would be cool.
It would make my day.
Yeah.
Let's talk roster.
Okay.
Real quick, I want to go down the Pitt depth chart first. I'll go offense, defense. A couple of notes on special teams, but it's like not the biggest concern of mine.
Yeah. Whereas, do you have anything that like really stood out to you that you were super surprised about?
Yeah, actually, I got a couple things.
All right. For the most part, this is the way I felt it was going to go. I'm pretty happy with it, so I'll let you get on your.
All right, yeah. So we'll start at quarterback. QB1, Keaton Slovis. We talked about this last time. Nick Patty, QB2, and then Nate Yarnell, the redshirt freshman, at QB3. He beat out Drew Kyler for that QB3 spot. That's kind of as expected. I just didn't know how that QB3 battle was going to turn out, but hopefully we don't have to talk much about a QB3 battle.
Yeah. As expected, but I think we've touched on this previous podcast. I think we're blessed to have a backup quarterback that we are confident in as much as we are in Nick Patty. So, obviously hoping the best for Keaton and happy, healthy season, but it's nice to have that little insurance behind him, for sure.
Yep.
Always. All
right, running back. Here's the first kind of surprise that I saw. RB1 listed as Izzy, RB2 Rodney Hammond, then RB3 is listed as Vincent Davis or Sibo Flemister, the Notre Dame transfer. I'm very happy with how this shook out. I did not... All the love to Vincent Davis. He has had some great plays in his big career, but I wanted Izzy and Rodney to be the feature. Izzy is going to... It's going to be by committee, but seeing that Izzy and Rodney are 1 and 2, they're probably going to get the lion's share of our first down, second down, short yardage carries.
Yep.
I'm very happy with that. I think that they just fit better, especially Izzy. He's a patient back. He's not Le'Veon Bell, but it's like that Le'Veon Bell style, right?
Yep.
And then Rodney Hammond really, really earned his role this year, and I'm very happy for him. And I think he's going to be able to excel in this offense.
Yeah, I love Izzy at the 1 spot.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be him and Hammond, the horses running. I can see Sibo climbing up there a little bit more, too. I think they probably just have, my thought process is that they have Vincent Davis there at the...
he's like a third down?
Yeah, more of like a scat back because he's a little bit smaller, and that's like what we should have been using him for his entire career. So if we can see a little bit more of that from him, that'll be cool too.
And then you got Sibo, probably as your short yardage back.
Right, yeah, you can bring him in if you ever go, I don't know. Like he's a pretty big guy. He runs hard from what I've seen at Notre Dame, so that's just another good car to have in the garage, I guess.
Yep. Anything?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm glad Vincent's at the 3. You mentioned he's had some very good plays in his Pitt career, but I see him, third down back, like third and long situations, receiving out of the backfield. Occasionally, I feel like he'll make a few plays this year, but
he'll be in the mix.
He'll be involved, but I think the other two are just more downhill, good, just power running backs, and I'm excited.
Fit better for Signetti.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go to receiver. So I'll go. I'm not sure if it's what exactly X, Y, Z, but I'm going to assume that Kanata Mumfield is the Y, your slot receiver, backed up by Jalen Barden. I think you probably have Jared Wayne at either X or Z. I don't know what they would call it in Signetti's offense. That's Jared Wayne backed up by Jalen Bradley, who saw some limited action last year. Same thing with Jalen Barden. And then your third, so we'll say Z, is Bub Means won the starting role, and then you have Miles Aston, a redshirt freshman, backing him up. I think this is more or less what I expected. I think that I didn't expect Aston to back him up. I was expecting maybe Che Nwabuko, the true freshman, to be on the depth chart, but that's also not surprising, seeing how he's a true freshman, even if he didn't roll early. I do like this trio, though. Kanata, Jared, and Bub. They each bring a different skill set. Like we discussed earlier, Bub means deep threat. Jared Wayne is the big body at 6'3", backed up by Jalen Bradley, who's also 6'3", and then Kanata is your do-everything slot guy, sort of like, maybe at 70% of Addison. Yep. Is what we're hoping for.
Bub Means is a little bit bigger than I had realized.
6'2",
215. That's a decent size.
Yeah.
Along with the speed, I think. I really like our receiving group, even with he who shall not be named gone.
Even and you touched on it. Even the guys that are listed second here, having played snaps last year and gotten some time, is huge.
I think the only guy who hasn't seen meaningful time is Aston, but Barden and Bradley being able to rotate in.
Yeah.
They both. I think they both caught touchdowns last year. I'm not sure about Bradley, but I know that Barden did the Miami game. I think he had a couple. But those guys, it's good to have players with experience, even if they're backing up. And they're going to see more playing time this year. I'm really excited to see what they do.
Yep.
Tight end, not too much of a surprise here. Gavin Bartholomew won the starting job. And then behind him, you have Kai Wright and Carter Johnson listed as both tight end 2. Carter Johnson is the JUCO transfer, and I think, can you pull up where Kai Wright is?
Yeah. What do you want me to look up about him?
Kai Wright, Kyi.
Yeah, but you just want to look up,
was he a recruit, or was he
he is a redshirt junior. It looks like he came right out of high school, redshirted as a true freshman, played in 8 games in 2020, made 2 starts. Then played in the first 5 games of the season last year before missing the rest of the season due to injury. So,
okay, all right. So sort of unproven behind Gavin, but from what I've been hearing, Carter Johnson, JUCO transfer, has been having a pretty good camp. He's also a big guy, 6'2", 250. That's my size, but all muscle, so that is terrifying.
He switched numbers, though. He wore 28 before, now he wears 3, so that might be another reason why we don't really recognize him.
I was like, Carter Johnson, only player this year wearing 8. He said nobody wanted it after Kenny left.
It's got some shoes to fill there.
Do you think?
I mean, that's also a weird tight end number, but...
Yeah. Do you think they retire that number at some point?
It depends. If Kenny has, a great NFL career, I could see it. I don't know. I mean, Kenny is now the leading all-time passer in Pitt history. It's
all-time touchdowns, single season ACC. It's possible.
Very possible.
We'll get
definitely
ACC championship.
Definitely helps him staying in Pittsburgh too, where you can be
Heisman finalist. Definitely possible.
It could happen
in the future. I think it's a ways away.
Let's not write him in yet.
Yeah.
All
right.
It could happen.
Let's go over O-line.
One last thing though. I know we've touched on this too though, but I think just the receiver group, we talked about how special that is, but Gavin is just such a stud. I mean, him paired along with that receiving group, I'm just very excited to watch them on Thursday night.
I'm excited to see how they block. I'm excited to see how well Gavin blocks, and I think these backup guys, they're bigger guys. Like I said, Carter Johnson is 250 at 6'2", Gavin's 6'5", 255. He's more He's more sort of that tweener build. And then Kai Wright is 6'3", 265. I think these guys are going to be these tight ends that have an effect in the running game.
But Keaton's success at USC was when he had those receivers that are now like he had like Michael Pittman and guys like that. He had at one point I can't remember all the
St. Brown,
Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and like Michael Pittman and like somebody else, like all his receivers at the same time. And that was when he was at his best. And I just like, I'm not necessarily comparing all of the Pitt receivers to those guys, but I think
when you have multiple good targets, it opens
exactly. It opens everything else up. And I think that West Virginia and a lot of the other teams that we play this year are not going to be able to cover everybody. There's just too much
There's
talent.
going to be one guy that's
There's
open.
going to be somebody open, and if Keaton has the ability to just find that guy every time, I see a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go over O-line. You've probably heard it. You've probably heard this point talked to death, but everyone returns left to right. Carter Warren, Marcus Minor, Owen Drexel, Jake Cradle, and Gabe Hoy. I want to point out a couple names here. Matt Gonsalves and Blake Zubovic, I think. They're listed as a backup right tackle, right guard, respectively. Those two guys saw a lot of playing time last year due to injury and rotating in. So there are two very capable backups. Ryan Jacoby, the Ohio State transfer that set out a year, is listed as the backup left guard. And then Branson Taylor, Richard sophomore, listed as the backup left tackle, has been getting a lot of good press after camp. But I think that even going beyond the fact that we returned the entire O-line, having two guys who have seen a lot of playing time, not just last year, but over the last 2 years. Zubovic and Gonsalves both made starts in the COVID year, so there's a lot of not only starting experience, but there's backup experience too. These guys just stayed in the program. They're going to start next year because everyone on this line is a redshirt or a COVID year senior, so they'll most likely be gone.
Yeah.
But
there's going to be people to fill those shoes definitely because you have those two guys that you mentioned, plus a couple of young guys with Branson Taylor, a sophomore behind Carter Warren.
Ryan Baer, when he gets up there.
Yep. Terrence Moore, a freshman who will be the backup center. So there are these guys that are learning from these people who have been there forever, and they'll be great to, between those guys and whatever recruits we have coming in, hopefully get this pipeline of good linemen in here.
All right. Let's move to the defense, unless you have anything else on the line.
No, I mean, I just love the dedication from the line, and I'm really happy everybody's back. Excited for that group, too. So I think
when a unit just buys in like that, and they're like, nah, fuck it, we're all coming back.
Yeah.
That's fucking football right there.
I think two of them are Senior Bowl watch lists, too.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Warren and Minor. I'm not sure.
I know Minor is for a fact.
Okay, then Carter's definitely the other one.
But yeah, the day the tweet came out, that was like the whole line is coming back. I was like, let's fucking go.
That was an awesome tweet because they put out a letter and they all signed it. That was chef's kiss, man. Let's go to defense. I'm just going to give you. Let's start with the end. On one side, you got Haba Baldonado backed up by Deion Hayes and Nate Temple. On the other side, you got Desmond Alexander backed up by John Morgan. D tackles, you have David Green and Devin Danielson listed as the one. So they're going to be rotating in with DeAndre Jules, who saw a lot of playing time last year. And then the other side, you got Kalijah Cansey and Tyler Bentley. That's not even mentioning Elliot Donald, who just happens to be Aaron Donald's nephew.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one guy that should be listed too, but there's someone else in this room that is like maybe a third, but they'll see playing time.
Yeah, I'm sure there is because we're so deep here.
I would expect even to see like some of the high recruited freshmen. Samuel Okunlola out of Massachusetts is on campus. You have that D tackle from he's the only local kid out of this class, but I think that there isn't much to be said except this is the best unit on the team by far.
Yeah.
This group is nasty. I am just so excited to see them just wreck some teams this year.
Yeah.
Did we were like top 5 in sacks last year, right?
Top 3 or 4.
It was like
Us, Clemson, and somebody else.
They've been up there like every year for
So
this.
I was going to say, with returning pretty much, like,
Everyone except Keyshawn Camp, basically.
yeah, you got to think we'll be up there again.
Well, since Narduzzi got here, we're 4th in the nation in that time frame. So,
We got a couple captains from this group too, right? Deslin Alexander's the end. He's one of the captains.
well, it's him, Carter Warren, Slovis, and Servassier Dennis.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is Charlie Partridge's done a wonderful job with these guys. It's quarterback killers. What else can you say?
Yeah.
Let's move on to, I think, the biggest question mark coming into this year, which is linebacker. At star, you've got the junior Bengali Kamara in the starting role, and Solomon DeShields behind him. Both of them saw playing time last year, but Bengali Kamara was named one of the MVPs of spring camp. He's been having a great offseason. At Mike, you've got Servassier Dennis, one of my favorite players on the team.
He's a dog.
Backed up by Brandon George, another senior. But Servassier is, he's the quarterback of the defense.
Shout out Brandon George.
Shout out Brandon George. And then at money linebacker, you've got Notre Dame transfer Shane Simon in the starting role, and then Missouri State transfer Tyler Wiltz backing him up. Just like the D-line, you're going to see rotation here. I think that, for the most part, like the top guys will see most of the plays. With they need to breathe, you've got 3 capable guys behind them. And, I think the biggest question is probably money with Shane and Tyler both coming into the system. Guys haven't known it, but
That's where you benefit from having Servassier, a guy who's been in the system.
same with Kamara. He's been in the system for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was interested to see Shane Simon at the top of the list. Yeah, transferred from Notre Dame. We talked about him in one of our very first episodes, if not our very first episode.
I think maybe
We talked
maybe
about
our first one, yeah.
Yeah. Remember that. So, welcome to the starting lineup, Shane Simon, and hope he makes plays.
Yep.
Yeah, the good news about, not that this is like a lacking group, but the good news is that when you have a defensive front like that, you can get away with a little bit more at linebacker.
They're going to free you up.
Yes. So that is a nice thing to keep in mind too.
Yep. Let's move on to the defensive backfield. Strong safety, Brandon Hill, starting backed up by Justin Taliander and Javon McIntyre. Brandon Hill is going to see a majority of the snaps. I think he saw the second most snaps on the entire defense last year. That position's locked up. We know what Brandon Hill is. He's good. He doesn't get that many interceptions, but he's pretty good in coverage. He's a solid tackler.
That's what we need.
Mm-hmm. At free safety, you've got Eric Hallett starting, backed up by P.J. O'Brien. Hallett was the MVP of the ACC championship last year, right? Or was that was it the cornerback? Can't pull that up.
This is a job for me.
Again, a capable guy in the starting role.
I don't remember because I think since I was at that game, they like didn't announce it on the field. They probably did on the broadcast.
I looked up ACC championship MVP and it says Zion Williams. Eric Hallett.
Okay, yeah, so returning
right,
MVP.
right.
And then at cornerback, you've got listed A.J. Woods starting on one side, backed up by Rashad Battle, who saw playing time last year, and then Rylan Gandy, true freshman, listed as cornerback 3, so true freshman seeing playing time in the system. Then on the other side, you've got Marquise Williams, backed up by MJ Devonshire and Noah Bigelow, who's a redshirt freshman. My thoughts is that MJ is probably going to be the slot corner like he was last year, so he'll see a lot of playing time.
When they go nickel.
Yeah. I'm very impressed to see Rylan Gandy in the depth chart, but I mean, Tony's told this to me, but A.J. Woods and Marquise Williams, he said, were 2 of the fastest guys on the team. And that was last year, and they've only gotten faster.
I mean, they have to be with what we're going to do. They're going to be on an island. They're going to have to stay on the hip pocket of a lot of these guys. But I think they're up to the task.
My only thing with the starters, and including MJ with that, the tallest of the bunch is 5'11". That's been my concern for a couple of years. We recruit short corners. Rashad Battle, 6'3", though. He's the tallest guy. Gandy is 6 foot. He's a freshman. I don't expect to see too much playing time, but if there's one weakness on the defense, it's height in the defensive backfield.
For sure.
They play well. They cover really well. They're ball hawks, but they get left on an island, and if you have a tall receiver, it could end up burning you. Like that Virginia game last year with Dontavian Wicks and the other guy, number 99, Keaton Thompson. Those guys are just taller than us, and they made a lot of catches that way.
Yeah.
But other than their experience, it's just you can't teach size. They play above their size sometimes, but it does come back to bite you. But once again, you're benefiting from the defensive front in front of them, 100%.
Definitely.
That's all I got.
All right, let's go over special teams real quick. This is actually the biggest surprise to me. Ben Saul is named the starting kicker instead of Sam Scarton, who finished out the year last year.
Yeah, that was an interesting announcement. Must have just beat him out camp, fair and square.
I think he's the one on scholarship, but I mean, he missed 2 extra points against New Hampshire last year and lost the job for good. I mean, if he doesn't perform again, Scarton's breathing down his neck.
Yeah. More experienced junior, but...
He did kickoffs anyway, so that's probably why he's listed as a starter.
I mean, not huge news there, but...
Hopefully he can actually kick it.
Hopefully it goes... It's not a controversy thing that's going to be going on, which I don't think it will be. They probably just saw some improvements. You know, he's a younger guy, so they probably saw some growing up a little bit from his redshirt freshman year to now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean...
we got the freshman Australian punter starting. Nothing there,
We
really.
love the Aussie punters.
I will say, Cam Guess, friend of the show, I know his brother really well. Backup punter and holder.
I like how there's a fellow Vander on the team starting, so shout out
Vanderhaar.
Sam Vanderhaar.
Kickoff returners haven't changed since last year. You have Izzy and VD. Not much there. Izzy, the only person to have a return touchdown last year.
Yeah, need a couple
Need
more
a
house
couple more.
calls.
Yeah. And then punt returners, in order, are listed as Kanata, MJ, and Jalen Barden. They're probably going to rotate in like they did last year, see who... Someone will probably emerge as the starter, but you have to feel good about that group, too, with their speed.
Did, I'm assuming Kanata Monkfield returned kicks at Akron.
Yeah, he must have. I don't know. He was a true freshman, so I don't know. He actually didn't really see a lot of playing time, so...
Yeah, I might have to go back and watch his film and see if...
I tried looking up. There's not a lot of action film on the internet, surprisingly.
They scrub that as best they can.
Hopefully, if Izzy gets another kick return touchdown this year, they have a better call on TV than they had last year. It was horrible.
A Joe Buck level.
It was the girl who does
the woman.
Who does the ESPN broadcast.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about like an Oregon game happening for the first 60 yards of it, and then he gets to.
I don't think she even acknowledged it until he was like at the 10.
Even like the 15. She's like, Izzy, Americana, gone.
It was bad. So I don't know. Izzy, give it another one. Hopefully somebody else calls it a little bit.
Hopefully we get Gus Johnson on the call.
Yes. Yeah. Who is calling the game?
Louis Riddick and
the Rick's on the call.
It's kind of cool that they got him.
Homer.
And then can't remember who the other two are.
Ooh, buddy.
Right, I have the internet at my fingertips.
After going over our roster, I think I had a couple kind of key matchups to go over while Ken's looking that up. Obviously, one is our D-line against their O-line. If our D-line can hold up, if our D-line puts JT on the ground early, that sets the tone for the game, and that really puts us in a really good spot. Second matchup, obviously, West Virginia does have a strong D-line, but we got to see how our O-line holds up against them. And then I think the most important one is both teams' receivers versus secondary. So West Virginia returns only one cornerback with starting experience on the team. The rest of them are transfers. Charles Woods, they're very high on him. However, everyone else is a transfer from other levels, so he's like the known quantity. So I think he'll probably lock one receiver up, but then that leaves, Gavin and then two others in the system to be open. So I think that we got to see what's going on with everyone besides Charles Woods in the West Virginia secondary. And then my thing is, like I said earlier, we have some smaller cornerbacks, and West Virginia is one of the teams with tall receivers. Bryce Ford Wheaton is the name that comes to mind. He is like 6'3", big, fast. Sam James, I believe, is another guy who's like super fast. So speed on speed, I can live with. We have a very fast secondary, but that size is something to look out for because we've seen the past on our doozy teams struggle with bigger wide receivers.
Mm-hmm. I have the answer that we were looking for.
What do we got?
We got Louis Riddick, Matthew Berry, and Harry Lyles Jr. on the call Thursday. Matthew Berry is the one guy that's on SportsCenter like occasionally.
He does like fantasy football stuff, right?
I don't think so.
I don't know
He does,
many
like-
announcing personalities, honestly.
You would recognize him. I'll show you a picture. Harry Lyles Jr. I didn't
I recognize that
recognize the name, but I looked up a picture of him and he looks familiar. But Matt Berry, you would recognize if you saw a picture of him.
Well, at least, I mean...
This guy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Honestly, honestly,
I don't know if I've ever heard him call a game, though. I don't know if that's new for him or if...
Yeah.
We'll all be at the games, and none of this matters to us, but it will be cool to go. I'm very looking forward to the, the Pitt Wire game recaps that they do.
Yeah.
After every win, those are awesome. I can't wait for that.
Regardless, at least we have Riddick to go to war for us. You know he'll be.
Yeah.
He's been pretty vocal about. I don't know. He doesn't really try to hide his Pitt, his Pitt bias.
There's going to be a lot of calls of bias on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
too bad.
West Virginia fans might be triggered by that.
Every time he's on ESPN, he's got the Pitt helmets and stuff behind him, on camera and everything, and
that's it. Pitt is it, baby. That goes to show.
Yeah, dude.
Can't wait, man. We're like I said, we're under 72 hours. By the time you hear this, it'll be well under 72 hours. Fuck, man.
we made it.
We're here. I just can't wait. We'll be in Pittsburgh Wednesday night, ready to go first thing Thursday morning. Full day out of it, but as the great Pat Narduzzi has told us, do not drink too much, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll be drinking just the right amount.
We're going to be drinking too much.
Pat, I love you, buddy. I'm going to be fucked up.
Challenge accepted. I think that's it, man.
Yeah. Our next pod will be post-game reaction, so we can go over that, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Saturday and whatever.
Friday, Sunday. I think there's a Monday night game too. So yeah, we'll talk to you next on Friday. We'll get that out as soon as we're out. We get the pod recorded. We'll try and make it a shorter one. I don't know. We might have a lot to talk about. We might not have much to talk about as far as the game goes. Probably a lot to talk about. Just first time seeing the offense and everything.
Yeah.
We got some good stuff planned. So.
Something special's coming out on Thursday.
Whatever feels right.
Hey, just be on the lookout. Something special's coming up Thursday. Get ready for it. You're going to love it.
Yes. I'm very excited for it.
And with that, thanks for joining us here at Simplify. Again, as always, make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter at SimplifyPod. I've been your host, Zach Kaminsky. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Real Angry. My co-host Mason, find him at Clayson_Ming. My other co-host Kent, you can find him at Kenton_VW. Make sure to follow the podcast on your app of choosing. Give us a review, 5 stars. Tell us what you loved. Tell us if our audio is bad. We're working on it. If it's bad, please let me know. I don't want to put out a bad quality podcast. But other than that, we're here. Let's get ready to have a great season. Let's go back. Let's run it back. Defending champs. Start a dynasty. And with that, we'll see you at the Brawl. Hopefully we see some of you guys tailgating. And if you see us, come say hi.
Hail to Pitt.
Hail to Pitt.